Hi, I'm Michael.
And I'm Leah.
I'm here today with Leah. We're going to be doing some, just explaining to you a few nuggets on how to relieve your body through stress. Leah, we're doing some yoga stretches and that, how to unwind our bodies from the sitting, what we're going to be doing a lot of. And I'm going to show you a few little strokes you can do with your body and some breathing, how to help us take our body out of this sort of fight or flight stage that we're in at the moment. Tell you a bit about myself. Years and years ago, when I started as a sports therapist, so I spent loads of years studying, and about 10 years ago, I had that little white that light bulb moment where sort of a lot of stuff made sense, and I was able to develop this system, which I do now, is called muscle fascia integration. The fascia is that what body is contained in fascia to hold it all together, is where all the nerves go, and the blood vessels and the muscles and all the organs are held in place by the fascia. And going from that, it's the sitting what we're going to be doing, and a lot of ailments which I treat actually come from problems of people from sitting. Because when we sit, okay, the fascia gets restricted, so when we stand up, the body still thinks it's in a sitting position. So if you look in the street, people actually walking around as they're just pulled out of their chair. But the problem with this as well is that it affects our ability to breathe deep into the abdomen, and it's very important that we flush in oxygen into that, because that's our energy. It's like our engine. So we get released. It's about up to 90% of our toxins go through breathing. So if you're not breathing efficiently, your body become toxic, and then disease will come in of some form or anxiety, which is quite common. I treat a lot of anxiety, especially more in kids, believe it or not. I'm quite successful at treating that in kids. Kids are beginning now, because of devices and sitting down a lot, their body becomes restricted in this area and they're not able to breathe into that. So the breathing becomes high. A lot of kids I treat with anxiety, their breathing is actually stuck in the adrenals. And all the problem with the adrenals is we digest fear here. So if we can't transcend the fear, we can't go over the bridge into the perineum, which is our core centre, we'll go on a bit more of that in a minute, then we're driven by fear. Okay, so helping us to release this area in here helps us to become more grounded and more focused and concentrated in ourselves. With the strokes I'm going to show you, I'm just going to lift up my shirt. Don't be fearful, it's 12 rated. Here we've got one of the most important places we need to release is just underneath the sternum there, either side. And the linear elbow. The linear elbow is where muscles the six-pack is connected to. As you know, I've not got one. But what we do, the best way we do is, you don't need to go into the muscle. We're surfing the surface. So you just hold it. And you'll find that slowly it softens up. Okay. This is very good for if you're treating someone who's got reflux, babies. I've just shown the same sort of thing. Because babies with reflux, generally it's because the breathing's not breathing into the abdomen or colic, so you would just work around there, down in your elbow and around the belly button. But just going on the dew, moving on slowly, just going that softly front into there, and then you come to the edge, and it'll be quite like a tight spot where the spleen is. We just press down there just a few times, and then we go to the other side, and again we just do there, just massaging there, and you'll feel it just soften up. Like I say, you don't need to go deep into muscle. We're just trying to surf the fascia on the top.
It's just a light stroke.
That's it, last stroke, that's it. And just press down into there. So then we do these little circular moments, okay, clockwise, just round in here. Again, you don't need to be going too deep, seriously, to be effective. And when we go round to the bottom, we just pull up a little bit and massage that, because that's where we hold our tension, that's where we hold the fear. And we move around this side and we move up again and pull this up into there, and just feel that moving around. And again, we're just doing these little circular motions, and we do some really big ones. And another area is underneath the 12th rib. Okay, I found especially people that have got autoimmune disease, autoimmune problems, or really high anxiety, this is going to be tight. Because when we're going to breathe deep, the diaphragm should expand, but that's tight, like that, they can't. It comes again up into here, and again what it does, it affects the adrenals and it overstimulates them, and then the body goes in a state of fight or flight. So if you're someone that gets panic attacks, or someone that find that they've got anxiety, try to concentrate your breathing into that perineum area, okay? It's just focus breathing it into there and then releasing it. And you find the more that you do it, the body starts getting used to that. But also then you're oxygenating your system. You get more oxygen in. You're not holding all them toxins in your body. Okay, so it's good. So in a minute, Leah will show you how to open up this area with some yoga moves, which helps to open up the hips. Because when we're sitting down like so into here, okay, when we get up, the body thinks it's like that. So it's good to be able to open up all this area, so the body then breathes like when we was young, when we was 1 or 2, when we used to breathe in into the area before we got into basically clothing in what older adults do, which is sit down and hold on to stress. Okay, so without further ado, Leah, and show us how to do some little yoga moves to help us to unwind from sitting, basically, the restrictions.
Should we just run over the strokes just quickly, just without
sorry. So first of all, what we do, we go underneath the sternum like that, okay, brilliant, like that, and we do the other side under like that, perfect, like that. And again, one of the most important areas is this linear elbow, okay. So what happens with the linear elbow, if that gets too tight, especially people that wear belly rings, it can really make it tight. It's like having your car in acceleration but not having the gear on, okay? That's why it's very important that we release it, because if that's tight like that, again, we can't breathe in, we can't breathe deep. So just again, we just hold it, and we just come down, and you can feel it just softening, and then we come up again, just softening up into there. And also just beneath the belly button, just want to hold down and just play that, and you'll find just halfway down there's a little release spot there. Just hold that there. Very important for our digestion there. There's a shiatsu spot there. You just hold that there for a minute. And whilst we're doing that, try to breathe into that. And you'll find sometimes you feel the motion restriction around the belly button. So you do that, and you just keep massaging it until you feel like you can breathe without feeling any stiffness in the abdominal area. And also another good one I find is sometimes is just above, when I'm working with especially young people, I hold it there, just lift up. Okay, so this takes out, because when they're not used to breathing in here, they hold restriction there. So if you lift it up, it releases it. So the belly then naturally does that. So it's quite a good one if you're, say, child between pretty from 2 to 7. It's quite important because the nervous system is still developing, and if their body is in the state of fight or fright, they will become like a magnet to your anxiety, so they can basically absorb your stuff. Okay, I find this is actually quite important. Thanks to bring back onto me again, especially when kids have got anxiety. Generally, it comes from the parents, and because they are like little magnets. Okay, so this is why, if you have a child that is also quite nervous, okay, it's good if you both work together in the breathing, and you'll find that you'll unwind, they will hopefully unwind the neurosis or whatever they may have attracted of you. Okay, so to go on to now to see so Leah will show you how to unwind again.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Dale. That was brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to run you through a series of just really light yoga asanas, and I'm going to incorporate a light sun salutation, so that you've got a little bit of breathing, a little bit of movement, and it helps to keep you also in like a meditative state. So you're just focusing on that, just to take your mind off things. And I'm going to practice at the beginning in a minute, 3-part breath. So this is a way of learning how to breathe into the belly and the diaphragm, which if we're suffering with anxiety or anything like that, stress, and we're worried, we tend to just breathe into the chest, which is activating the sympathetic nervous system. That is flight or fright. Now we want to bring ourselves out of that nervous system. We want to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the calming nervous system. This is going to really help us, especially with the things that are going on at the moment. So if you feel a little bit stressed, you can just practice this simple technique, okay? It's called 3-part breath, and we're going to begin with just breathing all the way into the belly, okay? So I'm going to do that with you now. So I'm going to go over onto my mat, and we're going to lay on our backs. So when we do this, it's we bend the knees. So lying on the back, bend your knees, and you're going to place your hands on the belly. So we bend the knees so that the lower back is pressing into the mat. so it takes the pressure off the lower back, okay? So the sacrum's pressed in there. We place the hands on the belly just below the navel. Keep the shoulders away from you so that you're nice and relaxed, and you can close your eyes. And just bring full awareness to the breath. So just breathing in and out. So breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, or out through the mouth if you prefer, okay? So take those deep, long breaths in and out. Slow the breath down. And keep the breath deep and long. Try not to force it, so a gentle breath. So now let's focus on breathing just into the belly. So we're going to just focus and isolate that area. So breathe into the belly, and as you breathe in, you'll feel the belly rise. So breathe in, feel the belly rise, and as you breathe out, feel the belly sink. And keep this going, breathing in, feel the belly rise, and then feel the belly sink. So you may find this quite difficult to do, so it takes a bit of practice, so just really focus on breathing all the way down into the belly, and then breathe out. Okay, so now we're going to move the hands up to the bottom of the rib cage. So we're going to place the hands there on the bottom of the rib cage. Now this is diaphragmic breathing. Okay, so we're going to breathe into the lungs, and as we breathe in, we feel the diaphragm, the ribs expand out to the side, and as we breathe out, we feel them sink. So let's concentrate on this. Breathing in, feel the ribs expand out to the side. And feel them sink. And again, breathing in, deep long breath. Okay, so one more breath in and out. And now we're going to place the hands on the chest. So we're breathing into the chest. Now this is quite a shallow breath, so this is the breath that we want to bring ourselves out of. So when you place the hands on the chest, just breathe into the chest, feel the chest rise. And as you breathe out, feel the chest sink. Okay, so now release the hands down with the palms facing up. You're going to breathe in from the belly, up into the rib cage, up into the chest, the heart space. And as you breathe in, you'll feel the breath working all the way up and all the body rising and expanding as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, feel the body sink, okay? So breathe in from the belly, up into the rib cage, up into the chest, the heart space. And as you breathe out, feel the body sink and release tension. And again, breathing in. And breathing out. Okay, so breathe in. And breathe out. Okay, that's good. Okay, so just lying the legs flat out in front of you, you're going to breathe in and bring the arms above the head. And on the out breath, so we're going to activate the feet, point the toes up towards the ceiling, pushing the heels out. So breathing in as we lengthen. And on the breath out, interlace the hands, hold just below the right knee, pulling the knee up towards the chest and slightly out towards the armpit, okay? So just releasing through the glutes and through the adductors, and also a little bit through the hips there. So breathe here into it, just releasing here, keeping the feet activated. And now breathe in. As you bring the arms above the head, lengthen, and on the out breath, hug the left knee up, interlacing the hands, holding just below the knee, and bring the knee slightly out and up towards the armpit. And keep this going. So we're going to breathe in and flow with it, and then on the breath out, hug the knee up and slightly out and up towards the armpit. And again, breathe in. So releasing through the hips. Now we want to do this, release through the hips. So just keep this going with your in-breath and out-breath. I'll explain why we're doing this through the hips and why we're going to do release through the hips, okay? In a sec. Okay, so now hug the knees in towards the chest and just rock from side to side. Give your lower back a little massage. And when you're ready, bring yourself over onto your side and bring yourself up to a seated position. So the reason why we're going to do a lot of hip opening today is because we tend to we hold all our emotions in our hips. So opening up through the hips is really, really important. This is a very emotional time for all of us. So these type of asanas are really going to help. They're going to be really, really beneficial. And also we want to open up through the whole of the front of the body, because when we're sitting, we tend to do this, we round, yeah, and also we're protecting ourselves at the moment, okay? We're very emotional, we're protecting ourselves, so we tend to do this, we draw in. So what we want to do is just open up. It's really important that we open up through the body, okay? This will really help us with our emotional release, as I said just a moment ago, and it's good for our posture as well, okay? Because we're sitting a lot at the moment, you know, we're doing schoolwork, or children are doing schoolwork, we're doing stuff on our computers, games and stuff like that. So we really want to work on opening up the front of the body. Okay, so let's begin with a little bit of a light asana practice. So we're going to come down onto our hands and knees into a tabletop position. We're going to begin with aligning through the spine, and we're going to break down a downward dog and do a modified chaturanga. So this is part of what we do in a sun salutation. So I just want to do it so we break it down so that we're doing it correctly, okay? So the hands are underneath the shoulders, the knees are underneath the hips. We're going to make sure the index finger is forward and we spread the fingers out to the side. Now rooting down in a downward dog is very, very important, okay? So we root down with the hands. We press the fingertips, the pads of the hands and the outside of the hands into the mat. So we make almost like a gecko hand. Soften through the elbows, so don't lock the elbows out. We always keep softness in the joints, so we protect our joints. Look down towards the mat so that the neck is in alignment with the spine. Now if you have a tendency to round through the upper back, bring the shoulders back so they're not up by the ears. And you're going to pull in through the pelvic floor area, the navel, the belly button, and just engage the two ribs at the bottom of the rib cage. This will help with the alignment. And if you have a tendency to hang through the lower back like that, a lot of us do, just slightly tuck the pelvis under, slightly tuck the bottom under, and that will stop that hanging from happening. Tuck your toes under, maintaining the alignment through the spine. Slowly bring the bottom back towards the heels. Then from here, rooting down with the hands, lift the knees up off the floor and lower the crown of the head down towards the mat. Now, you want a little bit of softness in the knees. Don't completely straighten the legs out. You're going to relax the head, so relax the necks, relax the shoulders, yeah? Completely let it go. Keep softness in the elbows, spreading the fingers, rooting down. Lift the bottom up towards the ceiling. So now if you want to, you can start to pedal your feet out. So this will help with any release through the calves, through the hamstrings. If you're a little bit tense in those areas as well, that will help. So just pedaling the feet out, pressing down with the heel of one foot, coming up onto the ball of the other. Good. And then from here, you're going to bring yourself back down into your tabletop position. Make sure the front of the feet are pressing into the mat. We're going to do a modified chaturanga. So keeping the elbows tucked in, you're going to let the arms brush by the sides as you slowly lower your body weight down to the mat. So pressing the pelvis into the mat, pulling the navel in towards the spine. So you have a slight gap there between the belly and the mat, yeah? This helps to protect the back. Keeping the elbows tucked in, you're going to inhale and lift the chest slightly into a baby cobra. This helps with release through the midsection of the body, which is really good for opening up that area. Now on the breath out, next breath out, come up into your hands and knees. Line the spine, tuck the toes under, bring the bottom back towards the heels, and lift the knees back up off the floor for your downward facing dog. Your feet are hip width apart. Bend the knees and think about bringing the chest towards the thighs, just lengthening here. Keep the head relaxed, the neck, the shoulders. So rolling the shoulders away from the ears. Now look forward and you're going to walk yourself to the front of your mat. Good. So when we're here at the front of the mat, we're just going to hang out for a little bit, okay? So bend the knees. It's really important that you keep the knees bent. And bring the chest towards the thighs. So completely let the head, the neck go. It's floppy, yeah? And then from here, you can hold on to your elbows and just hang. Now, if you have any issues going on with your back, your neck, your shoulders, this will really help to release that area. Sometimes when we're sitting, it can affect that area as well. So just sway a little bit from side to side if you want to. Remember, keep the knees bent, okay? Then release the elbows. You're going to place the hands on the hips and you're going to hinge halfway up. So it's a hinge movement from the hips and bring yourself halfway up with a flat back. So just look forward, hands on the hips, shoulders away from the ears, and now hinge all the way up to a standing position. Good. So we're just going to do a little like sun salutation, okay, where we're going to incorporate some hip opening. Okay, so a little bit of movement, bit of a flow, working with our breath. So standing at the front of the mat in Tadasana, this is mountain pose, so you can have a gap between the feet or bring the toes together. Lift the toes, spread them, make sure the weight is equal through the feet. Softness in the knees, hands to the sides and turn the palms forward. So this helps to align the back. It also helps to open up through the chest, okay? So it pulls the shoulders back. So we're going to activate the pelvic floor, the navel and the two ribs at the bottom of the rib cage. So pull them in. So inhale, reach up, look up, really lengthen, open up through the body. And on the exhalation, bend the knees, hinge forward from the hips and lower the head down. So let the head go, chest to thighs, keep the knees bent here. Inhale, lift halfway up with a flat back, shoulders away from the ears, look forward. Now on the exhalation, you're going to step back with your left foot. Lower the left knee down to the mat. Make sure the front of the left foot is pressing into the mat. You're going to stack the right knee above the right ankle. So this is a bit of a low lunge. Left hand to the left edge of the mat. You're going to bring the right arm up and open up through the chest, the heart space. So the fingertips base up towards the ceiling. So now what we're doing is we're really opening up through the whole of the front of the body. So we want to do this. This really helps with the sitting, okay? So we're opening up and breathe. Look up towards the fingertips. Work with your breath. Inhale, and on the exhalation, lower the right hand down and bring yourself into a tabletop position again. So keeping the elbows tucked in, you're going to slowly lower your body weight down to the mat for that modified chaturanga. Press the pelvis into the mat, pull the navel in towards the spine, inhale, lift into that cobra. And on the breath out, come up onto your hands and knees, align the spine, tuck the toes under, and lift the knees back up off the floor for your downward facing dog. Lower the crown of the head down, softness in the elbows, shoulders away from the ears, lifting the bottom up towards the ceiling. And now you're going to lift the right leg up, bend the knee, keeping the shoulders still, keep them square. You're going to open up through the hips. So from here, we bring the knee up towards the ceiling, bring the foot down towards the floor, but you're opening up the hips, keeping the shoulders still. Inhale, and now on the breath out, drive that right leg up. If that's a little bit of a struggle for you, from here, you can almost walk up a little bit, yeah, like that. Come up to the front of the mat, lift halfway up, flat back. Exhale, lower the head. Inhale, hinge all the way up to standing, bring the hands together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Tadasana. Good. So we're going to do that on the left side now, okay? So I'll do it this way round so you can see me. So standing in Tadasana, so you can see the left side. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips, lower the head, relax the head. Inhale, lift halfway up, flat back, look forward. Now on the exhalation, you're going to step back with the right leg. So lower the right knee down to the mat. Hello Monty, joining in. So push the hips forward. You're going to stack the left knee above the left ankle, right hand to the right edge of the mat, and bring the left arm up. So the fingertips face up towards the ceiling. Now really lengthening here, opening up through those hips. Let's really get that nice hip opener. Releasing those emotions, looking up, breathing into it. Inhale, and on the exhalation, lower the left hand down. Bring yourself back to your tabletop position. You're going to slowly lower yourself down to the mat, elbows in. Press the pelvis into the mat, pull the navel in towards the spine. Inhale, lift into your cobra. And on the breath out, align the spine, tuck the toes under, lift the knees up off the floor for your downward facing dog, feet hip width apart. So now let's open up through the hips for a three-legged dog. So inhale, drive the right leg up, left leg up, bend the left knee, keeping the shoulders still. Now open up through that left hip. Keeping the shoulders still, really rooting down with those hands. Breathe, inhale, and on the breath out, drive that left leg forward, or you can step up to the mat, whatever is easier for you. Lift halfway up, flat back. Exhale, lower the head. Inhale, hinge all the way up to standing, bring the hands together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Tadasana. Good. Okay, so that's just a little bit of a flow, getting a little bit of movement going there, which is good for us, yeah? It's good for the mind. It helps to keep your mind in a meditative state. It's good for breath as well, so you're working with movement and breath. So from here, we're going to bring ourselves into a yogi squat. Now, Michael will explain why this is such a good posture to do, a good asana to do, for when we're sitting and opening up through the hips. So ideally what you want to do is make sure both the heels are on the floor, on the mat. Now that's not always possible for some of us, yeah, so if you have got like a block or something or a cushion that you can place underneath the sit bones, so you sit down onto that, it makes it a little bit more restorative as well. So it's quite nice actually if you can do it in a restorative way. So it's up to you, decide where you'd like to work with this, but just really, we're going to really now make sure that we get this opening up going on, yeah? So we place the elbows just there inside the knees, bring the hands together for prayer position, heart center, and now we're going to open up. So we open up through the chest, through the heart space, just really getting this whole of the front of the body open. And now we're going to close our eyes and just bring our awareness to the breath. So breathing into it. So Michael, why is this a good asana?
Good. So I was going to come in. So what I'm going to say is, I want you to, when you stand up, do a squat. Okay. Just squat down. Okay. And then this time, I want you to just engage that pain in, and you'll see the difference in that squat. Okay. And especially for women, that if you're finding that you're doing shed loads of squats and you're finding that you're getting really big legs, it's because you're not squatting through your core centre. So when you squat, engage.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we've done that, our yogi squat. So again, like really opening up through the hips. We're going to bring ourselves down onto the mat. And we're just going to do a little bit of lengthening through the side body. Now the reason why we do this is because we want to release through the QL. Now if the QL's tight, that can affect our knees, which can give us problems with the knees. So we're going to bring the legs out in front of us and just bring the left leg slightly out to the side. The right leg comes in. So we're going to slide the arm down the inside of the leg, and we're going to shoot the arm over. Okay, so shoot the arm over and think about bringing the shoulder back and the rib cage forward. So we're really lengthening here, okay? Now we can do this with the leg out like that. If you're pretty flexible then, and that feels comfortable, then go for it. Do this, make sure that you keep both feet activated. But for some of us, that's just not, it doesn't work, yeah? It feels quite uncomfortable. So if you bend the other leg and you bring it in like that, and you really want to think about really lengthening down that side body, and you'll get that release through the QL. So Michael will explain.
The reason why this is such a good stretch, because a lot of us will sit on the left or the right side of a couch, so which means then one of these sides becomes restricted. Now when one side gets restricted, it can create crescendo on the other side, creating knee problems on the other side, or shoulder problems on the side that you're sitting. So this is why it's very important that when you do this, it's both sides are even. Okay.
So I'm going to do the other side now. So we're going to do the other side. So keeping the foot activated or both feet activated, you're going to slide that arm down and shoot the other arm, that's it, over. So really reach into the side there, bringing the shoulder back and rib cage forward. And if you look up towards the ceiling, that will really help as well with the lengthening. And really focus on your breath here. So you'll really feel that. It's a really nice release actually. It feels good today. Need to do this. Focusing on your breathing.
Do you breathe in? Where did you breathe into your stomach or breathe into the hip? How do you do that stretch?
What, with this one? Yeah, I'll try and focus on breathing into the hip and the stomach really. So yeah, just try and breathe into the areas as well where you're feeling it. And now you can release. Good. So we're going to just give the legs a little shake it out. That's it, it's nice. Good. And now if you want to, you can cross your legs. So bringing the hands together to heart centre. Namaste.
Namaste.
So I've just wanted, that's it. So yeah, just to give you a recap, with any of those asanas, especially the seated ones, if you want to hold them for at least a minute, up to a minute to 3 minutes, it's really beneficial. It will release through the connective tissue, through the fascia. Okay, so that will really help you. Okay, so yeah, it's just good to be able to get moving, get breathing properly. And yeah, just open up the whole of the front of the body. So we'll be back next week, and next week we'll be working on posture. Okay, so alignment for the posture, because as you know, me and Michael were talking about it last night, that posture is related to health. Now, if you have a good posture, it's going to affect your health. Okay, so it's a really important one to do. Okay, so. Yeah, we'll be back next week. And any questions that you'd like to ask, just feel free. Yeah, and yeah, see you soon.
Bye. Bye.